Cheers.
Cheers. Kia ora, I'm Keegan, also known as Velveteen Shakes. While in quarantine, I decided to do what every white man does at some point in their lives: try to grow a beard and start a podcast. I roped my friend Cameron into producing for me, and some interesting creative friends of mine into being guests. Here's the result. Welcome to the Velveteen Shakes Cast. Alright, kia ora and welcome to the Velveteen Shakes Cast with Velveteen Shakes. As usual, stream Flickr by Velveteen Shakes on Spotify. And tonight, as usual, I've got my co-host Cameron with me. And our very special guest this evening is Troy Kingi. Woo! You know Troy from his 3 albums, including his most recent and probably biggest, I would say, Holy Connolly, Burning Acres. He's also been in a lot of New Zealand films, such as Hunt for the Wilder People. And he's generally just quite a big deal at the moment. So we're very, very stoked to have you on here, Troy. Thanks heaps for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm really good. I don't know, just trying to settle into level 2. Still getting my head around it. Been used to being imprisoned for the last few months. So,
how have you been finding the lockdown? How was it for you?
I enjoyed it, eh? I really enjoyed it. Like, I've got a tribe of kids. I got 5 kids, so I'm usually on the road a lot, gigging and stuff like that. So it was good just to take a minute and slow down and just be with the kids and spend time with them. So yeah, kind of a bit gutted that they got to go back to school. So I don't know. It is what it is.
You do sort of get used to just hanging with the family, eh?
Yeah, for sure. But in saying that, I have got a shitload of work I need to get done, music work. So it's probably good timing.
Yeah, well, that was actually something I was asking people what questions they would like to see you answer, and my mum was asking how you and your whānau deal with the time you spend on the road away from them.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my kids, when I kind of started quite late. Like, I started in my late 20s, like 29, 30, is when I actually started gigging. Because I don't know, I was writing for a long time, but I wasn't actually putting anything out. I spent my 20s raising my kids. I had 4 kids before I turned 30. So, and now we've got 5. So, it feels like we're still getting used to it. Like, we just roll with it. I'm lucky. I've got a solid partner. I've got a solid wife. She holds it down when I'm away. I try and ring as much as I can when I am on the road. Especially my young ones, my 2 youngest. They're always wondering where the hell I am. They don't know what the hell's going on. So I try and Skype them at least once a day if I can.
Nice.
Yeah, it must be sort of weird to try and explain that to them, eh? Like, oh, I'm kind of a little bit famous, so yeah, that's why I'm on the road. That's yeah. So something I wanted to touch on was just how you started getting into playing music and sort of honing your skills and your craft.
I think I didn't really start doing anything until I moved up north when I was in 6th form, which is year 12 these days. And all the music that I'd listened to up to that point was generally just R&B and hip hop, you know. I was at boarding school, Māori boarding school, that's all we listened to. And it wasn't until I moved up here where everyone was listening to Rage Against the Machine or listening to all sorts that I'd never heard before, and just sitting in on my mates' band practices is where I kind of just got a really massive buzz. I'm just sitting in and just seeing like 4 pieces come together and form a sound that was cohesive, and ever since then, that's always been my biggest trigger, my biggest driver is just creating and bringing it bringing it to my band and seeing something come to life. That's still my biggest buzz now, even now.
Yeah, just seeing everything fall into place.
Like listening to your first album is that huge Josh Homme influence with some of that really nice guitar stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering,
I'm
like,
a massive Queens of the Stone Age fan. I'm looking at possibly one of the albums being just straight hardcore Queens of the Stone Age. Like, we're going to go for a folk album and an 80s electro pop album and a blues 1920s blues album before we get there. But I'm keen as to get deep into some Queensy riffs and he's one of my biggest influences. I don't know if it hasn't shown on my music lately, but kind of my holy trinity of artists is Josh Homme, Jack White, and also Dan Auerbach from Black Keys. Those three.
Yeah, I heard a lot of Black Keys and some of the vocal production on that first album as well. Like that really distorted vocals, and then the kind of Them Crooked Vultures harmonies as well coming in sometimes.
Yeah, bro. Well, that's all I was listening to. I think, what was I listening to around there? No, I had a really deep Black Keys phase just before going into the studio, but kind of like when Songs for the Deaf first came out, I don't know how old you were at primary school. I don't know what, but
3.
That's you were 3. Okay, well, I was at high school, and that's still one of my top 3 albums of all time. So
it's pretty amazing.
I think it's because those 3. Not so much Dan Auerbach, but the other 2, their song structures are. I love Josh's song structures. I love Jack White's because he's been put into a box like I'm trying to do by putting myself into genres. He said something about if you didn't put yourself into a box when you're in the studio, you just have too many options. When you only have this little box, you try and push that box out as far as you can. So you say his sound is this old school, whatever it is, to take sound, but within that, he's doing stuff that no one's ever done within that sort of realm. So that's what I take from him. And with Dan Auerbach, I suppose it's his production value of all his music. And he's also a wicked producer. If you look at his Wikipedia, all the artists and albums he's produced, damn. That's pretty much what I want to be doing.
He's got a pretty extensive back catalogue there.
Steve, I think.
Yeah, he's done some really dope ones. The Dr. John album from 2013 or 2014, the production on that, everything he's touched, like in the last 5 years, is you listen to it and you know that he's been part of it. He's got a real distinct sound.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I think it's probably the same with Cameron, but I think Songs for the Deaf was like part of what got me into drumming.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
sort of listening to that record.
My brother challenged me to play a song for the dead. That whole end thing was like, yeah, I still can't do it.
So if you need drummers for that album down the line, you know where to find us.
Dude, yeah, I did a cover of that, but I had who did I have? Joe Brownless, who's the drummer for Heavy Metal Ninjas. He used to drummer back in the days. He played for Quarter for a bit as well. He's a fucking double kick monster, that guy. But Dave Grohl, shit, he's one of my all-time favorite drummers.
Him and Them Crooked Vultures, I think, is like the peak of like rock drums for me.
I feel the same. It's just if anyone asked me for a rock drumming album, I would just say Songs for the Deaf and Them Crooked Vultures. Just listen to that. And
Crooked Vultures at I think it was Victor when they played there, but at Spark Arena has got to be the best gig I've ever been to. And I thrashed that album through that summer before going to that gig, and the songs that didn't quite stand out for me on the album when I watched them live, shit, Oh my God.
That would be
And,
a ridiculous gig. I can't
yeah,
imagine how
he
loud
turned
that
up.
was.
Dave Grohl's, I don't know, his biceps were, his arms look massive. Like, I was like, damn, he's smashing those drums, man.
I guess
But,
he doesn't need to work out if that's his workout.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But I can't remember what song it was, but it could have been Bandoliers.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know how he goes,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they kept going further and further until it was like, and it just went for like 5 minutes, and didn't think it would get any more crazy, and then just kept going and going, and it's like, the fuck
shit.
is this guy doing? But yeah, all time, and even looking at like Clockwork, like having
Oh yeah, yeah.
So good.
they had him, John Theodore, and Joey Castillo all play on that album, and all three fucking epic.
Some of that drumming stuff on I Appear Missing, so like the 6 minute
so
track, that stuff's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And My God Is the Sun just
Oh shit, yeah.
thrashes. Yeah, I've seen Dave Grohl play with the Foo Fighters quite a few times, but like him on the drums is just a whole different level.
He's a better drummer than he is anything else. Like he kicks ass at what he does, but he's still just the fucking drummer, man. He's a drummer.
The king of hard-hitting drums. Earlier you were mentioning about Dan Auerbach's sort of production side of things and how that's what you want to be doing. Do you, how much of a part in the production of your albums do you play?
Quite a bit. It's good having, I've had Matt Smith on my last 3 actually, including this one that we're on now. And it's good being able to just sit there and tell him exactly what I need and not have to be behind the thing. So I don't know if shit needs more sparkles or I need more highs in this. Like what you hear is how I want it to be heard, you know? So
yeah,
it's definitely, it's gotten easier over the years. I remember right at the start, my first album, I would have been like, oh, I need it to be more angry. And he's like, what does that mean? Like punchy, I don't know. So I've got my language down packed now.
I definitely have had conversations like that. Just like I want it to be just distort everything. I want
just those vague descriptors when you don't really know how to technically ask what you're asking for. Yeah, I find it's like quite a challenge to be sort of really hands-on with the production side of things while you're also making the music, because you know sometimes it gets really fiddly with like engineering software and stuff like that. So it's been a huge learning curve for me. So hopefully that'll get better for me. I wanted to talk about the recent sort of Troy Kingi boom, I guess you could say, because you've been working for quite a few years now, but I feel like the past year or two, you've really sort of had a big rise. You had Holy Colony Burning Acres come out. You won a bunch of awards for that. You got the Tate Music Award recently. So what's it been like having sort of the impact of that, fame, I guess?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't feel like I've felt the impact of that fame. I feel like I'm still at step 1, to be honest. Like I feel like I still got a long way to go. I'm only just starting, to be honest. That's what it feels like.
the way to feel, I suppose.
Yeah, like it's definitely easy to feel like that when I'm not living in the main centers, you know. I'm in quite a secluded spot up here in the far north. So yeah, like when I come down do gigs in Auckland or whatever, and I've got like a massive crowd, and I'm like, it's funny because I'll put the album out, I'll do a bit of a promo thing, and then I come back up north and I hibernate, and I'm like doing the washing or whatever, doing the dishes, helping the kids with homework, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got gigs, go down, and then people know my songs. It's like, I have got nothing to do with it. It's just like
It takes on a life of
Music
its own.
speaks for itself.
yeah, exactly. It just happens. So it's always a buzz to see how far and wide my music stretches and how many people resonate with it. But yeah, my buzz is always the actual, just the creating of it. Once it goes out, it's out of my hands. Like,
so do you feel like you avoid like seeing people's reactions? Like, is that a conscious thing? You try and like stay away from it to keep like the art the main part for you?
yeah, well, yeah, I suppose I do to a point. Like, well, I don't go seeking it. Let's put it that way.
Do you read reviews or anything, or do you try and stay away from that?
Yeah, I read it. If someone sends me the thing, I'll look at it. And the majority of them have been good. I've had the odd like shitty one, but oh well. All goods.
Whatever.
Please everyone.
Yeah,
Doesn't affect
but,
what people want to listen to.
No, like regardless of whether people are liking my stuff, hating my stuff, not listening to my stuff, I'm gonna keep on track and keep doing what I'm doing, and just keep trying to produce something of high quality. Yeah, it's quite a self-indulgent thing. Like it's all for me. I do this all for me. Like if no one was to listen to it, I think I'd be fine.
You'd still be doing
Not
it.
not in a monetary way, but
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you'd have less time to do it. You have to get another job.
yeah. But I definitely, it's just something I have to do. If I don't get this stuff out of me, it drives me crazy. So I'm nearing the end of this latest one. We should be finished by the end of this week. And
Nice.
every day that I've been in editing, it feels like another weight's been lifted off my shoulders. So once this is off, it's like, cool, next project. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it is that like
yeah.
big release once you've finished something, just that like the satisfaction of having it done.
Yeah, for sure. And doing such a stupid, ambitious goal as 10 albums, 10 years, 10 genres, just got to keep moving. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind. So
You said
I've got this.
You said you were doing a different genre for every project. Do you and talking about like the influences on the first album? Do you find like when you pick the genre and you're working on that album, does that change what you're listening to? Does what you're listening to then?
Definitely. Depending on what's coming up, that's all I'll be listening to. I look back to Zygertron, like I knew that it was going to be about space. I knew it was going to be this like psychedelic soul album. So that's all I listened to is those particular artists that I wanted to emulate. I actually deleted everything out of my Spotify and only put on these particular artists. That's all I fed myself leading up to the actual writing. The writing period was probably only 2 weeks, I'd say.
Oh, shit.
To write, and that was the 2 weeks just before going into the studio. But I spent that entire 10 months or whatever before that listening to the particular music that I wanted to emulate, coming up with little ideas or chord progressions, whatever, and just recording them like voice memos on my phone. If I had lyrics, I'd write them down. And then come 2 weeks before going into the studio, I rang up my mate and asked if his studio was available. And he's like, we're pretty booked up, but we're free in 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And I had a half a song written. So I spent those 2 weeks going through my voice memos. But before that, I had a list of the names of songs before I wrote those songs.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so you got names first, then write ones to fit them.
Only for that album.
Right.
So I knew I wanted them to be real spacey. So I had names like Grandma's Rocket Palm, friggin', what else is there? All those
As
freaky ones.
technology.
As
As
technology.
technology. Yeah, all of those ones. And then I started going through my voice memos and trying to pick the chord progressions or the melodies that kind of fit those names. And so I take that and just flesh it out, maybe one or two. Most of them were in one night. And the thing is, when you're in a rush, you can't question yourself. So you haven't got the luxury of coming up with 10 different bridges. I just most of that album is just my gut feeling and going with my first instinct.
Do you find that's like the way you prefer to write? To not even have a chance to second guess yourself? You just go with what you feel, your gut feeling?
I think so. Well, it's worked so far. But I'd love to see how something could be created. Say if I gave myself 3 years to write something. But in saying that, I'll probably still procrastinate into it in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. Same when I was at school studying for exams. People would like do study time and chip away at it. I was a like night before sort of dude, and it's kind of crossed over.
Yeah, it's really reassuring to know that procrastinating can actually you can
pay off.
It can pay
you
off.
Still have to do it, though. That's the thing. You still have to finish it. So
I feel like people don't get that. Like when they see their friends procrastinating, like you still do all the work. You just do it in 24 hours and burn yourself out.
Yeah.
Instead of doing like small doses.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good having a timeline or having your end date. So you're like, okay, I've got till that date.
So you've said that like one of your biggest creative influences is Quentin Tarantino. So I wanted to know, how has he influenced the way that you create?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something he said about only wanting to make 10 films. So that's one thing that I've taken from him. But he wanted to make 10 quality films that if he knew at the start that's what he wanted to do and that's what he's focused on, not like getting sidetracked and like, hey, come and do this little thing. No, he wants to do 10 films that he wants to do. And the reasoning behind that is, say, 30, 40 years down the track, when he's dead or whatever, and people hear about this legendary director and don't really know his films, they go back and doesn't matter where they look. Anywhere, any one of his films, he's happy for them to start on and then they can go wherever. Same thing with me. Like, I'm hoping to have that same sort of thing where they jump back and say they jump onto Holy Colony and they're like, oh man, he's a reggae artist. And then they're like, I'll go check out, oh, what the fuck? Where's his reggae? And then they're like, oh shit. Oh, okay. So that's probably what I've taken from him.
So you touched on it a little bit before. What can you tell us about the Ghost of Freddie Cesar, which is your new album, and the genres that you're planning on experimenting with in the future?
Okay. All right. I'll tell you. I've already told a few. I've said this one in a few interviews that I got to go back to 2005.
Oh yeah.
And go back to just before Christmas 2005. We were going to have an early Christmas with my dad in Auckland, and so we're like getting all this shit ready, and then I get a call from my auntie to say, hey, text actually on my old brick phone, hey, we can't find your dad, he's gone missing. So we're like, what the hell? And we're like, oh yeah, okay. Ring up my sister, what's going on? Oh fuck, I don't know where dad's gone, he's gone missing. So yeah, he used to like traveling at night, like after midnight when no one was on the roads. I know I used to always travel with him as well, like going from Rotorua where we lived up to Auckland. So we're like, fuck, I wonder if he went off the road or some shit like that. So the next day we all went down and we like scoured the sides of the road between Auckland and Rotorua, and then also like around the Tauranga way and like any other ways, and then even not going to Auckland, other places, and we found nothing. Like the whole car disappeared, and he still hasn't been found. That was 15 years ago.
15 years.
So
holy shit.
So like I'd say 2 to 3 years out, like from that point to 2007 maybe. Every time we saw a car that fit that description, we were just like, fuck, is there a man with a beard in there? No. And then there was a point where I was like, fuck, we gotta move on. Like, we can't keep holding on to this. It's pretty, we got our own families, we gotta worry about. So we just kind of put it to the side. Anyway, it was about the end of 2007 where I was at my mum's. Her and my dad broke up when I was like 4. They divorced when I was about 3 or 4 years old. She's like, hey, I got a box of your dad's stuff. She had 2 boxes. She gave one to my older sister, who's not her biological daughter. That's my dad's daughter. And then she had another box and I went and grabbed it. And there's some shit in there. And then in there, I found a cassette tape, and on it had the name Freddie Cesar on it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I had a look on the name on the back, and it was all like written in vivid, or I think it was just written on there, and same had all the names. Yeah, and the same names of the songs on the back. And so I found a cassette tape player in my mum's wardrobe and played these songs. But I immediately started remembering some of these songs, possibly from when him and my mum were together. Like, I just got this freaky ass vibe listening to these songs. So around then, I decided, I don't know, I just started writing down the lyrics, like in a little notebook. Oh shit! Oh. No, you still there? Sorry, 20%. We're on 20%. We got a little bit of time.
Oh, all right. Running against the clock.
And what the fuck did I say? Oh yeah, writing down the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then that was that. It was quite a therapeutic thing for me with losing my dad. Just friggin' writing down these lyrics to this tape that feels like, for some reason, was connecting me to my missing dad. And then fast forward to around 2010 or 11, I was cleaning up some shit, and then I found this notebook with the lyrics again. And I was like, oh fuck, that's that tape. So went looking for the tape, and I couldn't find the tape anywhere. And I was like, oh fuck. So searching for this tape, and I still haven't been able to find this fucking tape. Anyway, it was either then or a little bit after when I decided to do the 10 albums thing that one of the albums I wanted to be was a covers album to this guy, Freddie Cesar, as an ode to my dad. But the thing is, look this guy up. Can't find shit on this motherfucker. Look up his song names. And so I'm like, is this guy real? Like, who is this guy? Because I've got these lyrics in front of me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I had no reference apart from my memory of these songs and these lyrics. So that's why I say this album is a memories covers album.
Yeah.
Because you're covering your own memories of these songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So there's definitely parts in the songs that ain't the parts, because I completely forgot them.
Yeah.
When there's parts that sound like Troy Kingi, yeah, that's Troy Kingi. So
wow.
but there's definitely hooks in there that I remember real hard.
Yeah.
They're fucking mean songs, but it was a shitty ass tape. Like it wasn't a crispy, clean Earth, Wind and Fire album or whatever. It was like some backyard bullshit. But the songs were fucking amazing. So I don't know. Someone wants to come out and sue me when this album comes out. That's great. We'll get to meet the
you'll have answers.
Like get a better quality tape from them.
yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
So that's what this next album is. That's why, hence the Ghost of Freddie Cesar.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I am insanely excited to hear that now, because I don't think I've ever heard a story about an album like that. That's crazy. I
can see why you wanted us to go listen to the other interviews. Like, that's a lot to have to bring up.
It's a lot to unpack, yeah.
It is. It's probably too much, but never mind.
No, I mean, thanks for telling us that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Holy shit. Yeah, I'm very excited to hear it.
Man.
Quite
that's such a huge like completely aside from the music, that's such a huge like energy to have behind a project. Like I don't know, there's so many albums that I think of, I don't know, like Neutral Milk Hotel in the Airplane Over the Sea, like that just have this like energy behind them of like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess ghosts of
Sort of larger than just being about the music. Yeah. Ghosts, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like that. There's some kind of power behind that cassette.
Definitely. And I did put up a post a couple of days ago after getting out of editing, and it's like, I don't know, this is the most excited I've ever felt of any of the albums so far. Like even Holy Colony, Zagatron, at this point in the recording process, I never felt, I was like, yeah, these songs are okay. Maybe people will like them, but this one I'm like, fuck, I can't wait for people to hear this one.
I wanted to touch on the album you've just released, Holy Colony, Burning Acres. And I wanted to ask why it was important for you to explore politics on the album, and what made you decide to expand your focus to sort of worldwide indigenous issues rather than just specifically pertaining to the issues that Māori face.
Good question, mate. Very good question. I knew it was going to be a reggae album, and I've got really good friends that's all they listen to. That's all they listen to for years and years. So that was good for me as far as them putting me onto the right shit that I should be listening to.
In your like research stage.
Yeah, for sure. And the reggae that I loved the most was the political reggae. But they also, one of my, I won't mention his name because I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he's like, I don't know if you should do this, man, because I don't know if you're going to be able to pull it off, or if it's going to be like the reggae I know you're trying to create.
So out of spite, you had to do it, of course.
No, it wasn't out of spite. I was questioning myself. He said, if you're going to do it, there's only two themes they ever sung about, and it was either love or politics. And so I was like, okay, we'll try politics. Let's give that a go. And yeah, I started writing just as from a Māori perspective, and it just felt like, I don't know, every song just started talking about the exact same shit. I mean, the exact same thing. I was like, oh fuck, I think I need a bit more. And it wasn't until I started talking to some of my friends from overseas that I'd met. Some of them I'd met at film festivals, gigs, whatever, from Hawaii, from like Northern America, like Canada and stuff. And they're like, fuck, why don't you, well, I'll send you some stuff, it might inspire you. And they send me their stories and about their people and their histories. And I was just like, holy shit, this is our story anyway. This is the Māori story. Like, that was the biggest thing I found writing. There's a song about West Papua, which is a lot of shit going on right now. The Northern Americans, Hawaii, Aboriginals, even a song about Libya. And it was just, I suppose, in my researching phase, I was like, what are the stories that are really resonating with me, and what are the stories that I really want to tell and shed light on, and that's kind of the reasoning behind widening it more than just Māori, even though I could have potentially just focused on Māori, but I think another big reason behind going broader was Bob Marley. You know, he was singing about Africa Unite and Zimbabwe, and he sings about these things, and it makes you feel like he is those people, like that was him. And it's the same with Māori people. Like, they resonated with him so much because he was singing about minorities and he was singing about the oppressors, and it was tailor-made for Māori and for indigenous people. So
It's the same struggle universally.
exactly. So I figured, why don't I write for these people as well to give them a glimmer of hope? And I also question like whether I'm the person to have that sort of voice, because I'm not the most politically minded person. But as soon as I started writing it, it felt like it was like just beyond me. I was just writing these songs, not even for me at that point. And the coolest thing is getting feedback from these. I've got so many messages from people from West Papua or people that have escaped West Papua that really resonate with the Bird of Paradise song. People from
My favorite
Hawaii.
song from the album, I think.
Yeah, man, that was actually the first song that I wrote too on that album.
Wow.
And yeah, people from Hawaii, man, all over. So that's been the greatest feeling is getting there. I suppose blessing, but just that they felt what I was talking about.
It's interesting.
Oh, sorry, you go first.
It's interesting that you were presented with like politics or love, and you chose politics. But in doing so, you were talking about, I don't know, I guess universal stuff, which is kind of like love and.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You accidentally did both.
I've never thought about that. I didn't think about that. I suppose I just didn't want to write about, I don't know, hooking up with a girl or something. But yes, universal love for sure. Yeah, I can go through the genres in the 10.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, so this next album, we got a working title for the folk album. It's called A 75+ Year Trip to Perpetual Sleep, and so that's the next one. And then we got the 5 after that. At the moment, next year we're looking at working on my 80s electro pop, like New Order / Talking Heads.
Love it.
Joy Division.
Keegan's been binging Talking Heads pretty recently.
Oh, true. Well, those dudes, a mix of some like real quintessential, like cheesy 80s stuff, but trying to get the best out of it.
Even like the art pop stuff as well.
Yeah.
I just need that synth. I need that 80s snare sound.
And the toms, they're like.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I grew up friggin' hating 80s music, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to actually diving into the research on that and trying to pick it apart and figure out try and make it coolish for me. Make it cool for me.
I feel like 80s pop has kind of had a little bit of a resurgence recently.
I feel like it has, and it might have already gone already. That's the thing. I feel like it come and I don't know. If it has gone already, that's fine as well.
I feel like we're getting into like fetishizing the 90s recently. Like I guess it's like that 30-year cycle. Like
I feel like it's in the 90s right now. I'm not gonna do a 90s vibes, but
please don't do an early 2000s album.
No.
Troy Kingi's pop punk.
Although if anyone could do it and make it good.
No, so we'll do this 80s one, and then we're going to turn around and do like 1920s blues.
Nice.
Like really, probably just record it with one microphone in the middle of the room.
Like a real stripped back.
In one day. Yeah. And the thing I want to do with that is I need to build my own guitar for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm wanting to do blues, and I've been weighing up if I want to do straight, like relearn how to play the guitar and do raw traditional blues, or if I want to go band blues, more like that early Black Keys stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still weighing up what we're gonna do there. But so there's the blues album. I think the one after that is my Queensy one.
Fuck yeah.
And then after that's gonna be like Afrobeat, Fela Kuti, and then my last one's gonna be big band fucking
Like ska?
100-piece orchestra. No.
Shit.
Like fucking Frank Sinatra shit. Doing singing songs that sound like old James Bond theme songs. That's what I wanted to sound like.
Have you listened to Mel Torme?
No.
He's kind of Frank Sinatra vibes, but like a big band, like heaps of like jazz and orchestra kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, I want them to sound cinematic as fuck, like like you only live twice with all the strings, or so it seems. That sort of shit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a classy way to go out, wearing a suit, walking around with scotch, big band behind you.
And it's almost like the big band number at the climax of the film. That's the end of the saga.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, to go from Afrobeat to that is such a cool, like, I don't know, almost like
from Queens to Afrobeat to big band.
Definitely proving your genre.
I like it. I like it. It's a bit more jagged than right now. It feels too smooth right now. I need to jagger it up. The folk album feels like the most jagged it's gonna be so far.
Have you listened to much King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
I haven't listened to much, but
as far as like genres, like that seems like a similar vibe. It's cool to see people are doing that as opposed to getting like stuck in one thing, which felt like, I don't know, that feels like something that a lot of bands and artists like struggle with, is getting like stuck in their own sound.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, you find your sound and it's a good sound. It's kind of crazy to jump away from that, especially when you build your fan base up on your sound, and then next minute you're doing a friggin' political reggae album. So I don't know. I've dug my grave. I'm gonna follow it through.
I feel like it's nice you saying you feel like you're still at the beginning though, because like maybe with the switch of genres, it's like a constant build. You're never gonna get bored. You're always gonna feel like you're just starting out.
Exactly.
And then you're done. Yeah.
That's one of the greatest things is it's just a massive challenge. You're challenging yourself. I'm about to do a folk album. I feel like, at the core of it, it's just the dude playing acoustic guitar, but what's the essence of it? Like, I want it to sound authentically 1969. So that's the type of folk I'm listening to, and like I say, I dissect it, figure out what makes it tick. What are the cool songs of that era that I really love? Why are they so cool? And
singing about missing out on Woodstock or Pink Moons.
Yes, yeah, bro. Yes. I feel like I'm in a spot where I feel like I can write good songs, and I know what is a shitty song if I'm writing it. Whereas, like, one of my tips to songwriters at the beginning is just write as many songs as you can, because it takes like 5 shitty songs to get to your good song sometimes. And the other one, I can't remember who told me this, but I think it's when a fucking light went off, was you don't have to make the most amazing song every time you write a song. And I'm just like, fuck, that's great, because I used to be hung up on a particular song. I thought it was a main riff and a chorus, but everything I put with it, the verses and everything else, just felt like second grade. So I was always like, nah, I need to wait until something better comes along. It's like, let's fucking make it. And
I feel like
make another one.
That's something that being in a band, I think, helps with. Like, when I'm writing stuff by myself, I want to see it to its end and like fully make it, fully record it. But then being in a band, people, I don't know, you got people to bounce it off, and they can say like, this is shit, stop. And then you move on from it. I guess, I definitely have struggled with that, like getting attached to every idea, and then really it hits you hard when you figure out it's not very good.
Yeah, I suppose the difference of me is I got no one to bounce off.
Yeah.
I'm in this room and I'm bouncing off my thoughts. But I feel like I'm in a spot now where I don't need to go through all the shitty songs to get to the good songs. I'll be writing it, and if it's a bit shitty, I can just kind of veer off a little bit and find another way and work quite quick with it. Whereas in the past, I'll just follow it through, shitty or what, and then finish it and like, okay, get the fuck out of here, start the next one. And then I'll do something and I'll be like, fuck it, what can I do for the bridge? And I'll go back to one of those shitty songs. And I was like,
Yeah.
this idea here is quite mean. I might chuck it in here. So
Creating like a Frankenstein out of your demo.
exactly. Like I feel like I've worked up enough of a voice memo bank to like jump back in if I'm lost for inspiration in certain parts of songs. But
I feel like there's been like there's definitely people who listen to albums, people who listen to songs, and people who listen to playlists, and then people mix it up. There's definitely like I don't know if that's like a horoscope thing. Maybe there's like three types of personalities: albums, songs, or playlists.
Yeah, I've always been an album guy, and that's probably why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, we're probably definitely in the age of just skip to your favorite song off an album, but I don't know. I was back in the cassette era where it was a bit of a hassle to fast forward or rewind your tapes. So you just listen to whole albums, and you listen to them so much you knew what the next song was coming up, or whatever. And now if you listen to those albums again on Spotify or whatever, and someone skips a song, you're like, hey, that's not the next song, because you know the flow of shit. And I think that, you know, on the album, artists have put those songs in that order for that very reason. Yeah. Well, that's how I work anyway. Like, there's a reason why they're in that order, for you to go along with the story that they're trying to tell. It's not just the one song, it's through a whole body of work.
Every so often you click play on an album and you're still on shuffle from the last time you listened to a playlist, and the wrong song plays next, and it's just kind of like, hey, whoa, head on, no. Jarring. It feels so wrong.
I think having small windows of writing, like how I try and cram it all at the end. I've said in a few interviews where I treat my album cycle like, year 12 or sixth form. In sixth form, I hated it. I liked fifth form and seventh form because it was based on the end of year exam where you didn't do fuck all year, and then you just study at the end of it and you pass. Sixth form was throughout the whole year sort of thing. So I spend the whole year getting my info, researching, slowly getting little bits and stuff, and then the last 2 weeks is me putting all the stuff together, getting the project together before I go into the studio and hand it in and hopefully get an A pass. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like that writing thing is just a cramming thing, but it feels like because I've jammed it into that 2 or 1 week Zygatron, it feels like, I know, 2 weeks Zygatron, 1 week Holy Colony. It feels like the songs are going to be more cohesive because you're writing them in that same time period. And I like writing songs. I don't like writing a little piece and then leave it, do another piece, leave it. I like it when I start on a song, try and do it in that moment when you've got the inspiration for that, so that the song feels cohesive and you're in that same mind state that you are when you find the trigger for that song. And so, doing it in that small period, that's why the album might feel a bit more cohesive, because they're all being written together in the same sort of headspace. Whereas I write a song at the start of the year, write a song 2 years later, got a different vibe, and then you just have this mishmash of fucking, is this like 5 different artists on this album? Sort of
that's the first album, like Guitar Party at Uncle's Batch, you like kind of split songs with those audio snippets of like the party, and I was wondering, like, maybe because I've been wondering about this, like people's first album is generally like they've been writing those songs for years, and then it's like pulling your best songs together and making an album. So did you find that like maybe the first album was more of a mishmash of genres and
it was definitely a mishmash, because that's why it was a double album and why I had 22 songs, because I had spent 10 years friggin' writing all these songs. And I suppose that those little snippets, which were like recording over New Year's, I just on my phone, was to kind of bring them all together, make them a bit more cohesive, because it did feel like I had, like, I don't know, some Pink Floyd-y song, Queens of Stone Age song,
Black Keys song,
soul song, all sorts. So that was
some Muse vibes.
Yeah, exactly. So it was all over the place. And that was me still finding my voice, I suppose. And then but also clearing out the closet so I can start my journey. So I'm super stoked with that first album. Like, first thing first thing that I'd recorded that I was proud of. And one of my big goals after leaving high school was make a CD, make an album. And yeah, it's a pretty good one to start with. But I've just been really excited about honing in on different genres since then. And
it's a pretty stellar debut as well.
Yeah, mean. And it feels like the more I go on this journey, the more cohesive the albums are going to get. Once I start figuring out the formula. I don't know what it is yet. But when I do, that's when we're going to make it, man.
It's funny, the thing about the snippets, trying to make things more cohesive. I'm making an album at the moment. Like, I started just before lockdown and then kind of finished it during that process. And it's kind of a mishmash of songs from the past 3 years. And I started doing that where I got cassette noises and kind of tried to merge them together to make them more cohesive by adding in other audio snippets. And that's why I asked that question, because I was wondering, when I was listening to that album, I was like, oh, are you trying to do the same thing that I was doing, where I'm trying to justify them being one package?
Well, I think another reason why I had that name, Guitar Party at Uncle's Batch, for a very long time, probably 8 years before I actually made that.
Sure.
And it's not the greatest name, but I had it. I'm like, I'm going to stick with it. And knowing that it was nothing to do with a guitar party, that it was more like electric friggin' rocky. So I was like, how can I bring this back to a guitar party vibe? And I know that reviewers are reviewing it expecting to be some moldy acoustic in the backyard, and they got it and they're like, what the fuck is this shit? And
to be fair, you do have that. You do have snippets of that. So they did kind of get what they were expecting, but just in very small
exactly.
doses.
Well, that's why I did it. Well, that's why I did that, to bring it back to the actual name, and then I even made that bonus track, which was I initially wanted a massive guitar party with heaps of people singing it, but I only just had me and 5 of my mates, and it was the day after New Year's, and we're a bit hung.
Yeah.
And try to replicate we're on the piss, so people were clinking the beers a bit too much, cling, cling. It's I spit over the top, but I will go over it. And we just recorded that on my phone and chucked it at the end of Just a Face. But yeah, ever since then, I feel like I've wanted to do a concept album for everyone. So Zygertron was a space concept. Last one was an indigenous politics concept. This one is a covers of this ghosty dude. And then my next album is the folk concept for the next album is I've been writing poems for different stages of life that the average human goes through.
75 plus year journey. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So the first song is going to be birth sort of thing. I don't know if the song's just going to be called Birth. And then we have a song about school, work, love or friendship, and then ultimately ending with death as the last song. So kind of similar to Zygertron, where I write the names of the songs first before writing the actual songs. This one will be the first album where I actually write, because I always write the music before lyrics, so it'll be the first one writing the lyrics just as poems and then trying to fit the music to the poems. So that's cool. That's going to be a cool challenge and a cool journey. And plus, with that one, I'm going to be working with Delaney Davidson.
Oh yeah,
So looking forward to just hanging out with that dude and seeing what we come up with.
And you talk about time travel in the lyrics on Zygertron. You're kind of doing that, traveling through time by planning this stuff ahead. You can exist in those different states and I guess not plan ahead, but just know they're coming.
Yeah. And I think especially with the first 3 albums, even with this next one, most of my stuff's based early or in the 70s, only because that's where a lot of my influences, the way they recorded the sounds. And I think aiming for that era, you're never going to go wrong, because you're not trying to chase what's happening right now. You're just in your own sort of bubble.
Yeah, it's like it's a way to
And,
escape seeming like the album's feeling dated because you're dating them in
they're
the
already
past
gone.
already.
You've
Yeah,
already
yeah.
dated them. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, you never have to worry about that because you're already going for something that's already long past. So you don't have to worry about it going stale because you're already
Yeah,
doing
you're
something
like
that's friggin' old as.
you're making everyone take the albums at face value as opposed to like a product of the times.
Yeah, exactly. Say you write a super cool album that sounds cool right now of the times. How is that going to sound in 10 years? You know. But whereas if I'm aiming for an era of music that I've been listening to since I was young and I still love that shit, hopefully I can fit into that same category of people wanting to listen to that shit for another 30, 40 years. You know? How about I ask you guys a question? What are your favorite top 5 senses? So like, I'll give you mine to give you an example.
Yeah, okay.
So like my favorite sound is hearing a fucking crazy band, crazy album for the first time.
Yeah.
Always the first time. After that, it just becomes too. You just learn it too much. But hearing a band or something for the first time. Favorite taste.
Magic in that moment.
Yeah, favorite taste. Kina is my favorite taste.
Yeah.
Favorite sight is seeing cray feelers under the sea when you're diving. It just, I don't know, as soon as you see feelers, it's like, okay, it triggers something, the endorphins, like, is there more crays around here? Should I go for this one? Is there going to be one around the corner? And then you start forming a plan in your brain. I don't know. That feeling is amazing. Smell is a hard one. My baby's hair when they were really when they're newborn.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you guys got kids, but when you do have kids,
I get it though. My niece
smell your baby's hair, man, and you'll just be like,
I'll write it down.
Damn, Troy was right. This shit is amazing. This is my baby. Damn, this is great. And what's the last one? Touch?
Touch, yeah.
Fuck, I forgot my touch, man. I did.
You've lost your touch.
Anyway, I've lost my touch. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, you guys go now, and I'll think of my touch.
Wow.
All right.
That's loaded. Do you want to go first, Cameron?
Shit. Fuck.
I can go first if you want.
Sounds. Yeah, you go first.
I think my sound's got to be the same as you, Troy. I think the most impactful memory I have of hearing something for the first time, that wasn't hearing the artist for the first time, but when Childish Gambino dropped Me and Your Mama. And I heard, I have a very, very vivid memory of experiencing that whole song for the first time. And it's, yeah.
Just for reference, we have now talked about Donald Glover in every single episode of this podcast.
We're contractually obliged to talk about Donald Glover every podcast.
He's beautiful. I love that dude, man. Like, I think with Zagatron, I was aiming towards that. Because that only just come out. Was it Awaken My Love? Awaken.
That was 2016, December 12th, I think.
Well, maybe it hadn't come out yet. But Redbone had come out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was aiming. I think when we done Zagatron. Yeah, it was. It was 2017, so the album had come out already.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was aiming, plus all this other shit in the 70s. But anyway, carry on.
Oh, yeah.
My what were the other ones? Favorite smell? Wait, what's my favorite taste? I think taste is easier. I'm a sucker for a good glass of raspberry and Coke. There's something about the mix of flavors and the raspberry cordial undercutting the harshness of the fizz.
Keegan's actually sponsored by Raspberry and Coke. They pay for free advertisements.
I don't know. Maybe that's just what's on my mind at the moment because I'm drinking it. What else is there? Favorite smell. I don't know. That's trick. Oh, I do love the smell of like apple flavored candy.
Oh
If
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of sickly sweet kind of vibe, a little bit of sour.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also like when you get out of the city and you smell like the difference in like fresh air, like really fresh air. It's like when we go down to Takaha, places like that, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is what nature smells like. What are the other two? Sight and touch. Those are really tricky. Those are really, really tricky. Sight.
You don't have to do touch because I can't think of my touch.
I think sight for me, it kind of includes sound as well, but I'm gonna cheat. Is when you sort of first, because I'm a huge TV and comics guy. When you first get into a series that really captures you, the same, I guess, the same as like seeing a band live for the first time. When you like just on that first watch through, and you really connect with it, I think that's probably my sight. And as for touch, we're going to keep the podcast PG-13, so it won't be disgusting. No, I can't think of one for touch either.
I had one. I think it might have been like maybe holding my babies and like all to do with their hair, like running your hand through their hair.
Yeah.
But it's more than touch. That's like a whole feeling.
I feel like you have the advantage of more life experience than we do in this.
One day you can have that too, man. The hair, smell, and touch.
Actually, I know what my touch is.
What is it?
Just thrashing the drums.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Thrashing the drums, playing.
What's you gonna say, like sand or something?
Nah, thrashing the drums. Yeah, that's
probably,
mine, I think.
My touch is probably the same. Just there's something about playing drums. It's different to any other instrument for me. It's just like.
So do you both play drums?
Yeah.
Yeah, we both play most things. Multi-instrument.
Flex.
Okay. Most things is a stretch. There's way too many instruments. Just like yeah.
I think. Did you start as a drummer as well?
Me? I started with the trumpet. Oh, who
started with the trumpet? Yeah, but Cameron and I, we met when we were one. I met him at his first birthday party because our parents used to work together, and then we met again like 15, 16 years later, and we were both in two-piece bands. We both played the drums and guitar and bass and sang, and we both listened to like all of the same music and liked all of the same TV shows. So we were really kind of freaked out when we met each other.
Yeah, and then we became fast friends, and then I think he came around one day, and then my mom was like, you know, he was at your first birthday party, right? I was like, what? Yeah, 1998. Oh, right. 1999. I don't remember. But yeah, so yeah, playing drums definitely. Yeah.
Your favorite food, man.
Favorite food? Taste. My favorite taste. My favorite taste is. Oh shit. Okay. Recently, anything to do with soy sauce and chicken. I don't know. I didn't eat soy sauce for a long time, but I've really recently gotten into that.
Salty blackness.
Oh fuck yeah! I love salt. My favorite taste is crackers with lots of salt.
Okay.
Favorite smell is definitely when it gets into winter. Winter's my favorite season for sure. And when it first gets into winter and you're walking around at night and the air is like so cold that it's like crisp that it kind of hurts when you breathe in. But there's something about that smell, and like if you're walking along and people of us getting the fires going, it's like you're feeling kind of cold, but you're kind of snug, and you know the other people are warm, and there's a smell that goes with that kind of winter feeling.
Actually, you just triggered my feeling.
Oh yeah.
The feeling you feel when you're in bed. Well, I remember when I was little, and it's totally pissing down outside and you're just
Oh,
warm in your bed.
fuck yes, yeah. Listening to the
feeling is
rain.
great.
Rain on the
That
rooftop.
might be my favorite sound is like rain
Yeah.
outside when you're inside.
I was
Yeah,
going to
that's
change
pretty
my
cool.
favorite smell to like the smell of when it's been raining, but it's like the air is really
Yeah,
fresh, you know?
Oh, sorry, I was just thinking of some rude ass shit.
Oh no. Some
My
Donald
favorite
Trump
smell.
in Russia shit?
No. Fucking no.
Is that all of your
What are the other
senses?
ones?
Sight.
Sight. Honestly, I'm walking around at night, like home from parties, and like it's winter, it's foggy. Let's say it's 2 a.m., you've got your headphones on. My favorite sight is the fog as you're walking up a hill, and the orange street lamps, not those terrible new like blue and white ones they're putting in with those terrible bulbs, like the orange older street lights, like cutting through like the mist and the fog, like maybe through a tree. And it's been raining and everything's kind of glistening. That's my favorite sight, probably. That or this one sunrise I saw once, and like the ocean looked like it was made of like glistening shiny milk. It was like so bright and great. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
The Brad Pitt Fight Club moment is you need to do more of that. That's going to get you those 5 senses, man. Like eat more friggin' crackers, play more drums.
Yeah.
See more sunsets, sunrises.
Live more life.
Walk more in the winter and sniff that fire.
And in me and Keegan's case, have more babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just do the shit that makes you feel good, man.
Right after this, I'm going to go tell my parents, Troy told me to go have kids.
Do you
And
find
I'm going to drink plenty more of this Coke and red or cordial. Here we go.
Who are some, if you had your pick of the whole lot, any artist that you'd love to collaborate, who would you want to collaborate with? And is Velveteen Shakes on that list?
Oh,
I'm kidding.
top of the list. Velveteen Shakes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think
That's fine. I don't
mentioned
feel
most
left
of
out.
them.
It's fine.
I think
I
we
was actually
mentioned
gonna
most of
say-
them.
I was actually going to say earlier, Cameron's album that he's making at the moment kind of gives me similar vibe to what you were describing with the folk album that you're making. Because I think one point we were discussing it, you described it as kind of like a dark folk album.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
this made-
Keegan messaged me ages ago and was like, "Yeah, apparently Troy Kingi is gonna make like a funk album and is also gonna make like a dark spacey folk album." And then Keegan was like, "Yeah, we've got to. He's stealing our genres.
Our gimmicks.
Oh,
He's
no.
stealing our gimmicks. Yeah.
Well, when do you think you'll drop your album?
I don't know. I made it and I was really into it because I don't know. Right before lockdown, a whole bunch of stuff happened.
It's very
with, like,
good.
my I don't know, friends in my band and stuff. So like I was feeling pretty alone, and then isolation happened, so I had to be anyway. I got really into it and I made it all, and then now like I finished it and it's been a couple of weeks and I'm not sure. I don't know when I'm gonna release it. I want to do it properly. This is the first thing I've made by myself, and then I feel
Will
really
it be
like,
this
proud of.
year though?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know,
Me,
man.
bro,
I
that's
was thinking like around, not to release right next to your August 28th release, but my birthday is August 24th, so I was thinking sometime around then would be a nice time to put it out.
Yeah, me.
I'd
Well,
love
cool.
to share it with you
Well,
if
that's
you
when
want to hear it. I will
Bro, send
send
it
you the
through.
link right
Send
now.
it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard. I think that's when we're going into the studio around then. So if I hear your album, I'll try not to do what you're doing. Okay, I'll do something completely different.
I mean I love that vibe of like I've been making like folky kind of stuff like acoustically, but I've finally kind of added like electronic stuff and like dark kind of spacey psychedelic kind of vibes to it. And I've really loved doing that thing. So if you're making anything like that, I'd love for there to be like a scene of that kind of music.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Cool,
no
bro,
way
I'll
I'm going
send
to
it.
be
I'll
getting
be
my
keen.
album finished anytime soon.
Fuck it, no.
I started a song the other day.
Oh
and,
no, yeah.
This me and Dave Artai were working on a song, and right at the end of the day, there must have been like a surge of power or something. And apparently there's a problem with some of the new updates on the MacBooks, but the MacBook we were using just died and wouldn't turn back on. So the project was saved, but it was saved to that computer. So we're still waiting to see if the song will be resurrected or not.
Ratchet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to start from scratch.
Oh, going back to your collaborations, I'd love to do.
Oh yeah, we asked you a question.
Something with Kendrick. We already talked about Kendrick and Childish.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
But also
that's bucket list right there.
Yeah, a couple of NZ artists. Conor Moccasin, I really love that dude. But also I know Mortal Orchestra.
Yeah, actually, that was one of the other vibes I got from Guitar Party at Uncle's Patch. There's one song, I can't remember which one in particular, but it gave me some kind of Ruben Nielsen vibes, like on a more.
Well, it's buzzy because like while we were in the studio, I was thrashing Multi Love that whole time, and we're down in Christchurch, and I was doing these walks up. I think it's called Rapaki, up this huge mountain. Was up from our house that we were renting. And I just listened to that, so maybe it did creep in a little bit. But fuck, that dude is like my favorite all-time NZ. He's like one of my heroes, and we done Fat Freddy's last year, and they did as well. Opened at Western Springs.
A couple of my mates went to that show.
Yeah, me and my drummer were like, "Oh my god, there's Ruben," and I was like, "Oh man, I can't go talk to that guy."
Oh.
And then my drummer had got a bit of Dutch courage, had a few drinks. It's like, bro, let's go. So we went up to him like, hey man, we're big fans. It's like, oh hey, I've been thrashing your album, the Zagatron album over, and it's been making me feel homesick. So I was like, fucking mean.
That must have been great to hear. That must have been such
validation. There's a photo of me. There's a photo of me, my drummer, and him, and my drummer Trey, he's like, we had Mara TK taking a photo of me, him and Ruben. He's like, that's like my idol taking a photo with my two other idols and me. I'm like, fuck, am I your idol too? Me. But it was just one of those moments where we were just hanging backstage, and it just felt like all the cool people that you wanted to hang out with were all in one space, and it's like, fuck, it was a cool vibe, really cool vibe.
I think my brother had a similar experience when you asked him to play guitar with you at WOMAD. Because he'd just been honestly thrashing Holy Colony and Zygatron all the time. So I think he was a bit buzzed out when he got the gig.
No man, he's a choice dude. My guy.
My God.
Yeah, no, he's cool, man. I've been following him, and what's his mate's name that he bullies with?
Jesse.
Fuck, he's funny. Yeah, I follow them on Insta, and fucking smile every day, man. Get cracked up.
They do get up to mischief. Shout out to the Androssi Builders team.
That sounds like a good band name, eh?
Yeah. Got any more questions?
Oh,
I think I'm all done, with my questions. I think we've covered everything. I don't want to take up any more of your time.
I've had very little expectations going into every one of these podcast things, and all of them have been such like great conversations. And I don't know, like hearing about the background of your upcoming album. I don't know. I was kind of speechless. Which I guess is probably the wrong thing to be for like an audio medium when you're meant to be talking the whole time. But I'm really looking forward to all the stuff you're gonna be putting out.
Me, bro.
Yeah. So that drops August 28th, eh?
Well, if all goes to plan, yes.
Yeah, if all goes to plan.
If not, maybe slightly later. But that's I think we're gonna be on target. So around August 28th. Should be finished. I'd say I got to shoot back down and finish some stuff this weekend, and it should be done by the end of the weekend. And if I don't know who's mastering it, but hopefully we can get it mastered before the end of next week. Awesome. Yeah, so not too far.
Sweet. sounds good. Yeah, I've never heard a story like that in music or anything, so I'm really looking forward to hearing that. Sounds amazing, really. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time, and hope you're keeping well. And we'll come and see you for some live music once.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on in the world stops. Being weird.
Yeah, no, sweet, bro. It was a cool chat, man.
Yeah, thanks for chatting.
I've got like a list of 30 things I need to do. So I need to go do an ad and finish 2 collaborations, but
tonight?
I go to the gym. Yeah.
I
go to the gym though.
Whoa.
I go to the gym at 11. That's my time to go to the gym. Just because no one's there, and I don't like people looking at me, man.
That's my
I stay up till 3. I stay up till 3 every night. That's
between 2 and 3 is when me and Keegan will frequently like when I was recording these songs, I would like at like 4 a.m. sometimes send him like a bounce of one of the songs, and he would reply instantly. I'd be like, "Why are you awake?" And he'd be like, "Why are you awake?"
Yeah, that's that one of my songs talked about that leg space at the start of Guitar Party. Well, it was about having no leg space when I was flying down to Christchurch doing songs from the inside, but in the chorus, nobody gonna show you to the moon. Nobody gonna. I can't remember the words. And Sunday, da 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 da. Unless you move while the city sleeps, something like that.
Yeah,
and it's about getting ahead while everyone else is resting. That's when you got to do your grind, and that's when the shit happens when no one sees it. All the stuff you do behind the scenes, and on the outside it looks easy, like all this shit's happening, but fuck, you're doing late nights and grinding, and they just see the finished product, but it takes a lot of work.
And what a beautiful note to end on.
Oh,
unless no, go for it.
Yeah, I was like, that feels like I don't know, that's such a relatable mood. I don't know, I'm definitely like a nocturnal person. I do so much stuff at night, like all my creative stuff I do at night. I find it hard to like focus during the day. Everything's so bright and so overwhelming, but at nighttime, I feel like there's more time for your brain to kind of breathe, I guess. Me too.
Yeah. But it's more for me. It's out of necessity because I gotta watch my baby in the daytime. So it's the only time I've got. So I fucking use it. When the kids go to bed, I use that time.
Good nocturnal mahi.
Yeah.
Oosh.
All right. Oosh. Well, we'll let you get to the next item on your nighttime agenda.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us again. And
thanks for talking to us. I had a great time.
Have a good workout.
Yeah, mean, bro. I'll send you a photo of me sweating. No, what the hell? That didn't come out right, did it?
And what a good note to end on. All right, on that.